Assalamu alaikum everyone. I hope you guys are good. Acha, I'd like to start my talk by asking all of you a very simple question. आप में से जितने लोगों ने कभी भी अर्तुगरुल गाजी का नाम सुना है वो अपना हाथ उठाएं. If you've heard the name अर्तुगरुल गाजी at any point, you've all heard the name. That's very nice. Okay. अच्छा ठीक है. अगर आपने अर्तुगरुल गाजी का नाम सुना है तो आपने ज़रूर हलीमा सुल्तान का भी नाम सुना होगा. So if you've heard her name, please raise your hand. ठीक हो गया. And then you must also know all of the other wonderful characters from the show, their culture and their history and everything else. Now I'd like to ask you to raise your hand if you've ever heard the name of the poet Khushal Khan Khattak. That's wonderful. Please raise your hand if you've ever heard the name of the Queen Jawahir Khatun. And please raise your hand if you've ever heard the name of the General Ainul Mulk Multani. No hand. Okay. So you have heard it. Khushal Khan Khattak was a warrior poet from Akoda Khattak in today's Khyber Pakhtunkhwa in the 17th century who tried to unite Pashtun tribes against foreign imperial rule. Jawahir Khatun was the queen of Gilgit and the greatest monarch in the history of Gilgit-Baltistan. And Ainul Mulk Multani was a warrior and a general who was instrumental in the rise of the Delhi Sultanates and the defeat of the Mongols in South Asia. Magar, seeing the lack of raised hands when I took some of these names raises a very important question. Why has the Pakistani identity been explored so little by us Pakistanis that we can identify the great personalities who live thousands of miles away in places like Turkey and other regions, but we can't recognize the great personalities who lived on our land, great personalities who happen to be our ancestors? Why has the Pakistani identity been explored so little? और इस सब पे आप में से अक्सर लोगों के दिमाग में ये बात आ रही होगी कि चलो ये बात तो ठीक है मगर what is the Pakistani identity? Certainly not something any of us have been taught about in school. We've only been told that us Pakistanis are an ideological nation and we never received any other explanation further from that. So very simply put, every country in the world has a specific geographical area. And on that specific geographical area, you have a specific set of people living there. The culture, history, and tradition of those people is essentially the identity of that country. So in our case, the history, culture, and traditions of the Punjabis, the Pashtuns, Baloch, Sindhis, Chitralis, Gilgitis, that is essentially the identity of Pakistan. Unfortunately, we've never been able to represent this identity to the world. Why? Because our media houses, or TV shows, or television, or movies have never tried to explore any of this. The only international representation that us Pakistanis get comes from Bollywood, in which case we're either burqa-clad women and men with large beards, no mustache, with surma in our eyes who go about saying adab and janab all day, or we are straight-up religious fanatics and militants. Because according to Bollywood, unfortunately, a Pakistani cannot be a normal human being. And on the few occasions where we do get representation, a positive representation on some international scale, our identity is diluted under broad generalized labels like Desi, Brown, South Asian, Subcontinental, instead of just saying Pakistani. Indian achievements are Indian achievements. Bangladeshi achievements are Bangladeshi achievements. Nepali achievements are Nepali achievements. Afghan achievements are Afghan achievements. But Pakistani achievements are Desi achievements, South Asian achievements, subcontinental achievements, or straight up brown achievements. We're not allowed to be called Pakistani when we do something good. And thus, there arises a need to battle this narrative, to at least challenge this narrative. And that is where me, many other people like me, and all of you guys come in. People who do use social media or can use social media to explore the Pakistani identity and bring it to the forefront for the world to see. People who use social media to go back centuries into the past to pick out events and stories which explain to the world and to each other why us Pakistanis are the way we are. People who use social media to document the wonderful literature, the poetry, the folk tales, the ballads that are present in our many languages and cultures. People who use social media to write about and make posts about the wonderful cuisine, the food that our people have been eating for centuries. People who use social media to explore the unexplored parts of our country and document the stories that are hidden, that have been hidden for centuries. Essentially, people who use social media to show the world what it means to be Pakistani. और इस सब पे आप सबके दिमाग में फिर से एक बात आ रही होगी कि चलो ये बात भी ठीक है, मगर what is the point of any of this? क्या फ़ायदा है, क्या फ़र्क पड़ता है अगर हम लोग ये रिप्रेजेंट करें या ना करें? What difference does it make to anybody on any level if somebody knows what the Pakistani identity is? So very simply put, there are many nations in the world who are economically or politically weak. But these nations, in the Grand Council of Nations, they get their due respect. Why? Because they get their recognition on account of their culture. They get recognition on account of their language, their literature, their poetry, their culture, their clothing, their food, everything. Their, them being politically or economically weak has nothing to do with the fact that they have a vibrant culture. What is Pakistan recognized for internationally? Extremism, militancy, political turmoil, turbulent events, and an overall sense of dread in anything that you can see. Why is Pakistan not known for its culture? Why is Pakistan not known for its poetry? Why is Pakistan not known for its clothing? Why is Pakistan not known for its food, for its traditions, for its customs, for all the vibrant, beautiful faces that I'm seeing in front of me? Why are we not known for this? Simply because we've never tried to explore or represent this. We've never tried to show the world that this is what it means to be a Pakistani, that there's much more to us than what you see. And social media is an excellent platform to challenge all of this. You have the power to sit in your home and reach millions of people and show them what you actually are. You don't have to be a hotshot content creator to do this. If you have a mobile, if you have an Instagram account, and hopefully at least two functional brain cells, you can do this. If you're from Punjab, you can literally walk around in your own area, document the history of the many gurdwaras, the temples, and the mosques which exist in your land, and tell the world the pluralistic nature of Punjab. This would be you representing the identity of Pakistan. If you're from Balochistan, you could go about and document the wonderful patterns and designs which exist upon Baloch attire. You documenting this and writing about this would be you representing the identity of Balochistan and as an extension, the identity of Pakistan. If you're from Sindh, you could write about the concept of block printing, which has been used for thousands of years in Sindh for the creation of ethnic clothing. You writing about that would be you writing about the identity of Pakistan. If you're from Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, you could write about every single inch of land that offered resistance to the British for more than 70 years. And you writing about all of that would be you documenting and representing the identity of Pakistan. If you're from Gilgit-Baltistan or Chatra like I am, you could simply sit down with any of the carpenters in your area and document the wonderful patterns and motifs that they make on their custom handmade woodwork and write about how the origin of these designs is thousands of years old. And you'd be doing your country a favor, and you'd be doing your identity a favor. All in all, there's so much for us to explore in this regard. It's your duty and my duty as inheritors of one of the grandest legacies of history and culture in the world to do justice to it. It is our duty to show the world that there is much more to Pakistan and Pakistanis than what the media decides to show you. That we also have a culture of our own, we also have ethnicities of our own, food of our own, clothing of our own, languages of our own, poetry of our own. We are a nation by any standard of a nation. And I hope that this very small and concise talk can help inspire you to start this journey on some level. Thank you so much.